Good morning, everybody. This is Tim Cole with MPX. We're just about ready to start. We're going to give about another 30 seconds and be right back to get going. Good morning, everybody. This is Tim again, and we're going to talk today about loyalty, growth, and capturing market share in this time of significant transformation in the way that end customers are looking to deal with not only your organizations, but certainly all the business interaction they're having. So with me today, well, first of all, I'm the Chief Customer Officer here at MPX. We're based in Portland, Maine, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the session in a second. But first of all, I'd like Julia Miller and Mandy Fish to introduce themselves.
Hi, everyone. My name is Julia Miller. I'm the Vice President of Business Growth and Development at Blueox Energy. We're a Cargas customer, and I'm going to be showing you a little bit today in conjunction with MPX kind of some of the things that we're doing to grow in the industry and the tools that we're using to get there.
Hi, and I'm Mandy Fish. I am Senior Technology Solutions Analyst, and I'll be helping to drive along these presentation and demonstrations so you can see firsthand what we're talking about.
Great. So the reason that we're here today is that last week we were at the Cargas Summit and had the opportunity to give this presentation to an audience there, and the reception was pretty significant. There was just tremendous interest, tremendous questions, a lot of follow-up, both in the room and afterwards during the summit, from individuals who had asked to have us, they just wanted others of their organization to see what they witnessed, and so asked if we would go ahead and do this again. So we were certainly happy to do so. So it was, you know, we're fortunate to have the opportunity to speak at some of these shows, and there really was, the message is just, it just feels like it's on target and of deep interest to all of you as you're wrestling with the reality that is a consumer population that's being just transformed in the way that their expectations are. The telephone used to be embraced, and now it's a source of irritation. And there's just this pace and way of operating in life that calls for those of us that are supporting those consumers to meet them on their terms. So today we're going to talk about that, and we're really going to look at Julia and her business and what they've done over the last couple of years to really make a notable difference in their communities and the kind of growth that they're experiencing after a lot of years where they weren't seeing that kind of growth. So what our objectives are for today are to share trends and to give you the reasons why behind what it is that we do, and to talk about the fact that market share is really in the balance, that consumers are moving with their business in this era where ease and convenience is just so paramount. And then to give you solutions that are really designed to work and certainly to work for the end customer, who we know is a very critical part of our kind of the world in which we're trying to satisfy. But also, whenever we think about solutions, we want to make sure that your internal teams also have elegant solutions and that there's not a lot of brute force and manual intervention. In fact, we look to eliminate all of that. And ultimately, what that results in is both on the cost saving side, but now even more importantly on the market share and the growth side to help ensure your financial success. So while we were at the conference, we did ask for a show of hands on a simple poll, and it was just really, you know, how many have a customer portal, and almost everybody in the room raised their hands. And then we were asked about automatic payments. Is that something that's doable? And there were a limited number of people in the room that were offering that. Text notifications, some, but a limited number, but very much high in demand, and as consumers are looking for that peace of mind and to confirm deliveries and when service is coming and so on. No one in that current room had text to pay, which we'll talk about, but certainly interest. And then when we were asking, like, what is missing, what had people attending, it was really this idea of total self-serve for the customer base and again, peace of mind alerts. So from a trend standpoint, 10 years ago, the first iPhone was coming out and traditional telephone use was really common. The first energy portals appeared, and they had kind of basic functionality for payments. Usually only balance due was able to be paid. But then jump forward about 5 years, some of the things that Amazon has been spoiling us with for now upwards of 25 years, actually. Those ease and simplicity and conveniences were starting to make their way into traditional business settings. And energy portals, though, were still largely unchanged. It was the basics of payments and placing orders. Usually it was a web form when placing the order, nothing elegant in terms of going right to operations or dispatch. And then 1 year ago, really we saw this transformation of batch processes being pretty aggressively replaced with real-time expectations. And it just comes back to what consumers are seeing in other parts of their lives. They make a payment or they place an order, and they're questioning why within 5 seconds they're not getting an email back to confirm that everything is okay. And so that causes consumers to then call and to get frustrated. So and really the telephone, I'm sure your customer service teams are feeling this, that people are agitated right from the beginning. Just the fact that they have to place a call can set people off. And of course, there is there will be people that are comfortable and still prefer to use the phone, but a significant percentage of the population now just sees it as a source of irritation rather as a source of help. So consumers are craving ease. Time is at an absolute premium. This digital transformation that we're all witnessing is really the biggest technology boom that we've witnessed in history. Everyone's connected, always. And the real question is, will our industry shift? And will it go from being what has historically been operations driven to being consumer driven? And that simple concept really sets a lot of things in motion that can help either bring ease or frustration to that end customer. So the habits of this consumer base are shaped elsewhere. They're not shaped by your competitors. It's what they see in all parts of their lives, yet expect it with you and others that support them. 9 out of 10 consumers now absolutely expect self-serve, ease. This next bullet is interesting because we all assume millennials want it, but Gen X and baby boomers want it as much, in fact, even more so. So everyone's coming around, and we are witnessing that websites that satisfy the expectations of consumers are being used a lot. So these top two numbers, that top number are the dollars in payments that our websites that we support here at MPX have been processed last year. The second number is the last running total of the last 12 months. So in less than a year, there's been a 30% increase in the number of dollars that have been processed on our portals. So we hear this at times where people say, well, our customer base, really, they're not that interested. Our customer base is different. They don't really use the website. And I would just strongly encourage you, if your portal traffic isn't flourishing, to absolutely question the functionality and to not question the industry that we're in or the age of your customer base, because that that expectation is really you're just giving a gift of market share to others in your areas. Julia.
Yeah, so I'm going to jump in here and speak a little bit on behalf of the other dealers and what we've kind of been going through and why we've, not had to adapt quite as quickly as some other industries have. So we're a little behind the times as far as implementing technology and what our customers expect to hear from us, but that's okay. Our business as a whole, while it is a complicated business, the basic functions of our business are relatively simple. Somebody needs a delivery, and it's our job to make the delivery. You have drivers who feel, they know routes better than what a GPS can forecast. It's a pretty intuitive business, so it makes us think that we don't really need a lot of automation because that part of the business to execute is not overly complicated. For many years, we've all gotten by on paper delivery tickets, index cards, or Excel spreadsheets for managing the business, and it's allowed us to be a little bit slower to the technology boom compared to some other industries. But as Tim's talking about, that is what is starting to shift. So what's changing? Well, in a lot of areas of the country, demand is eroding, whether it is more companies getting a piece of the pie, whether it is new fuel sources to be used, whether it's more energy efficient equipment. There's triggers coming at us from all different areas that are starting to erode, how many customers are looking for the products and services that we offer. Same thing with margin. When there's more CoD companies popping up, willing to do it for, 30 cents compared to maybe your 60 to 70 cents. All of a sudden you have to challenge what your business model looks like, and you have to figure out a way to survive when you're selling the same commodity. So there's less gallons, there's less margin. It kind of starts to make you look at the business and say, now is the time to optimize, what we're doing. We've got to start to work smarter. So the first thing we all do is we all look to the P&L and we think, okay, first thing is cut costs. That has the first immediate impact. And while that is a good place to start, it's not really anything that's going to dramatically change your business. And I'm going to get into some more details on that. But that's pretty much, where we started as well. So we look to the back office, we look to accounting systems, we look to routing, we look to mobile applications. A lot of other industries are much further ahead than we are on this. But these are all the areas that we can cut costs immediately and kind of feel good about it. You can reduce your mailings, you can maybe reduce some overtime with some optimization tools. But the thing about cost cutting is it's really only a gift you get one time. You don't get to see those savings over and over again and watch them build. It helps put a Band-Aid on the situation of depleting gallons and depleting margin, but it really won't solve anything for the long haul. So this is where we look to customer-facing solutions, and this is the road that Blueox has traveled over the past couple years. Internally, if you're lacking technology, it puts a lot of excess pressure on your customer service team. If you have old technology, it kills morale. People get frustrated. You have higher turnovers with your employees. And when your employees are not satisfied, that reaches down to your customers, whether it's intended or not. The customers feel the frustration of the people on the phone. So what better gift to give them than tools that can make their job easier, which only allows them to take care of your customer in a more streamlined fashion.
So thanks, Julia. This is, I think that concept of optimization is absolutely the right concept. And I think that what Julia is talking about and what we're witnessing with other customers is that while kind of that back office, internal, cost-focused optimization was a very logical place to put energy in the recent years, it's quickly changed to optimizing that experience for your customers. And that is the road to success that we're witnessing with your peers. And Julia certainly is a nice example of that. But growth, there's, when you think back to Amazon and when they first started, they knew that cost of getting customers would never be less expensive than whenever they first started on the internet, because they knew that competition would get tougher and tougher. And I think that analogy can apply here. Like, we're at the beginning. Actually, we're probably in the middle, but we're at least in the energy industry at the beginning of really giving great service. So that customer is vulnerable. Market share is vulnerable right now. So there's really, what we're witnessing is there's nothing more important than growth. Automating wherever possible. That is how customers, your end customers, are assessing your business and looking for ease and simplicity. and price plans that have been really complicated and vexing to both customers and CSRs for years. That's a ripe opportunity for automation, and one that we're seeing great strides in, and Julia will talk about in a minute. So just thinking about daily interaction, whether it's text alerts for ease and peace of mind, or text to pay to keep the consumer in control, and really all that is that automatic payments are terrific to have set up, and to have auto delivery and auto payment. What better relationship? It's just pain-free for all involved. But there are a lot of consumers that like that concept, but don't trust their bank account will be able to handle multiple payments in the winter months, for instance. So text to pay is a really logical complement where they pre-populate and set everything up in advance, just like they would for automatic payments, but they get a text in advance of the payment being made, and they decide to say yay or nay. So it keeps your customer in control, and our customers are getting paid about a week earlier than usual. There's also, don't underestimate, certainly today's talk is about automation and self-serve, but there still are a lot of people that receive documents by paper, and those are still really critical. They can dramatically impact your call volume in either direction. And so we've spent a lot of years working with customers, trying to identify ways to simplify and clarify and ensure accuracy with the data. And price plans can be complicated, and whether service was or wasn't part of the plan. All of those areas are opportunities for confusion. And when done right, it can just quiet that audience down, and people pay on time and they're happy. And so, again, that continues to be an important and valuable way to help manage the satisfaction level of your customer base. And certainly, there's great marketing opportunity too within both the paper and the digital side. So the portals and alerts, this automation, it's really become a surrogate for what used to be a billboard or any other advertising that you might have done in years past. It's really a surrogate for your driver, because people aren't home and not seeing them. Your CSRs, if people are calling, oftentimes they're agitated to begin with. And so, the portal is really the surrogate for all that, and certainly for your leadership. Individuals are assessing what they think of your organization based on how easy it is to navigate your portal and how easy your documents are to understand. And so just keep looking for ways to provide them with ease. And we are witnessing that industry leaders, those who are taking the bull by the horn and really bringing this ease, are seeing phenomenal growth. And so, 5% or 10%, I'm sure would be pretty compelling to many in the industry. And how about twice that, which is what Julia and her business at Blueox are witnessing. So with that, let me turn it over to Julia and Mandy to walk you through some of the things that they're actually doing.
Thanks, Tim. Well, Mandy gets our demo here set up and ready to go. What I will do is I'm going to start by just giving everyone a little background about how we have achieved what we have achieved. So as Tim was alluding to, in the past 2 years, we have actually achieved 20% growth in the energy space, and that's without acquisitions. That's just organic growth. So it's something that we're really excited about and we're really passionate about. Kind of our story of how we got there was we started same as everybody else. We were in a rural market in upstate New York, and our gallons were declining rapidly. Our customer counts were declining rapidly. Our customer satisfaction was declining. So we started to really take a look at why these things were happening. And we did, as I said before, what everybody does. We said, okay, we need a new back office system. Well, that was Cargas. Great experience there. We've been on Cargas for about 5 years. And that really started to catapult our curiosity, because we were seeing immediate results with using better tools. And all of a sudden, we could do business a little bit more efficiently. We had employees who were empowered with information. So the morale of our organization started to rise. And then our ability to deliver to our customers started to rise. So this is going well. Well, one thing about really good technology is it makes you not have any tolerance for bad technology. So the next area we went, we did the accounting stuff, but the big shift that we made was actually looking at our portal. At the time, we did have another portal that could handle, a lot of the basic transactions, price protection plans, what have you. But our customers weren't able to use it the way we would expect them to use it, so they weren't using it at all, which became an area of frustration for customers and for our team members, as customers wanted easier ways to do business with us. So we, about 2 years ago, made the change. We decided to partner with MPX and kind of navigate through building this portal more specific to the energy space. MPX has a lot of different industry knowledge as far as building portals and communications, so they really bring that expertise to the table, where we were kind of bringing a level of what happens in the day-to-day for a dealer to the table, and that's where we've kind of merged in this product. So we launched the portal, and immediately our customers were excited about the fresh look, the feel, the information that was provided, the continuity they were seeing from documents that we had to, what they could see online and what they could do online. And at that point in time, we started to get more and more engagement. We saw our auto pay start to increase. We also, with our price protection plans, this is kind of the other big number that we're excited about, which I'll get into more in a little bit, but we were able to automatically enroll 40% of our budget and pre-buy customers 100% online, fully integrated with Cargas, so nobody had to touch it within the first year. So that was something we were really excited about. And that has really catapulted a lot of momentum for our organization to keep looking at these customer-facing solutions, because as Tim was alluding to, it's exactly what the customers want. If there was ever an area that you wouldn't think customers are demanding it, it's where we are in rural upstate New York, but even our customers are demanding it, using it, and satisfied with the engagements they have with us. Of the 20% growth, we know that the number one reason customers come to us is because other customers have referred them. And that's actually a growing trend that we're seeing year over year. So it's really exciting. It means that our customers are happy. They're telling other customers about it. And when new customers are calling in, they're getting a better experience with our team because our team is satisfied with the tools that we're using. So I'm going to break it out to kind of go through the tools that MPX offers by the different types of customers that you may be looking to satisfy. So I broke them out based on credit-approved customers, CoD customers, and your price protection plan customers. So for a credit-approved customer, what's important? For them, it's clear communication. For you, it's clear communication, so they never are left frustrated, and probably that they don't run out. Same thing that's important to them. So if we're looking at the tools that MPX offers, Mandy's going to navigate for me, but you can see here on the main screen, it's got a lot of really good functionality. It shows the tank locations, estimated fill levels. We've chosen to display these items. Now, a really unique thing about MPX is you can choose to display information how you want. So we've chosen tank locations, recent deliveries, recent service, recent payments. But as far as tank locations goes, one thing that we really wanted to be present on the home screen was estimated fill levels. We do not let automatic customers request deliveries online because we don't want them to be generating a bunch of short deliveries if they're a nervous Nelly. But we do want them to see what we are estimating to be in the tank, because if there is a discrepancy between what we show in Cargas/MPX and what they're seeing in the tank, we want them to pick up that phone and call us to avoid the run-out situation. So you're empowering them with information, which avoids them calling in saying, do you know when my delivery is coming? Do you know when my delivery is coming? And because this information is fed directly from Cargas, it changes dynamically as your forecast change in Cargas. So if all of a sudden the month of December turned out to be 70 degrees and your delivery dates all got pushed out, that would automatically update in this system. So your customer is empowered with real-time information. Now, if you do have a credit-approved customer who wants to be a will call customer, we're seeing that trend grow as well. That's a great functionality that MPX can handle. So as you can see, Mandy's going to the order fuel screen, and it's going to have a lot of the same information you saw on the front screen. But you can see here that we have a will call tank that they're allowed to request deliveries for, and we have the automatic tank that they're not allowed to request deliveries for. So Mandy's going to go ahead and click the request delivery button. And when she does, the page is going to load. You can have the default option be to fill my tank, or if you allow the customers to choose how many gallons, our minimum delivery is 100 gallons, but you can, let them put in whatever information they want. You can simply type that in that box. And what happens is, as soon as that submit button is submitted by a customer, all of a sudden the delivery is automatically populated in Cargas in real time. So where this is hugely impactful is if you are somebody who works a night shift and maybe you remember to order fuel at 11 o'clock at night, you can now log in and do business with us when it's convenient for you. We live in an area with a lot of manufacturing, so that's pretty important where we are. And I'm going to have Mandy jump over to Cargas to be able to show you when we log into this account that the delivery ticket has now populated automatically and is ready to go to dispatch. So in this case, my ticket is still on hold only because of my fake balance on my account. But in theory, if this account is not on hold, that ticket is already sitting on the dispatch board waiting to go out on the next delivery truck, which if you're coming in first thing in the morning can be really handy to grab those few extra delivery tickets when you're going to be in the area. So that's something that's really exciting, and I think that generated a lot of excitement at the Cargas event was showing this real-time integration. As Mandy's showing here, you're also seeing on the delivery ticket where this ticket was generated from. So you know this came from an online customer. That ticket message is completely customizable as well. If you want any information hard-coded there, that's something MPX can handle. So really, this is a great way to just kind of show how the integration between MPX and Cargas allows your customers to do business with you in real time without picking up the phone. So going to the second type of customer, talking about CoD customers. What's important to CoD customers? Really that there's probably reminders in place and clear communication. And what's important to us about CoD customers is that their money is available when they say it's going to be available. And again, that clear communication to avoid, somebody forgetting to leave a check for the driver or a no-show for a service appointment. So a lot of what we'll have Mandy go to the preferences page first to show some of the customizations around notifications. One great thing is that with MPX, they can handle not only your portal, but all of your customer-facing communications, whether it's email, whether it's text, whether it's your documents. They handle all of those functions, eliminating the need for 3 or 4 different vendors. Everything's managed in one place, which makes it great for your team because they have a reference point all in one place. But you can see here that you can customize whether or not you want emails, text by different types of transactions. That empowers the customer, again, to do business how they want to do business. So we send a lot of text alerts on a regular basis to, especially the CoD customers. We send them the night before the delivery or before the service appointment at 6 o'clock. So that way they're jogged to leave the payment. If there was an emergency and they had to reschedule the appointment, hopefully they're going to call us first thing in the morning or go online and send us a message to let us know right away, so we're not scrambling midday trying to find work for a technician or a driver to do. And, if Mandy could go back to the tank information, there's something that I wanted to highlight, too, about the CoD customer. And it was funny because as I was going through this presentation, I hadn't really thought about this before. So we don't let CoD customers order online as it stands right now. As you can see here, these tanks that are listed have under order, it says you need to call because we want them to call to place these orders. But I got thinking about the integration between Cargas and MPX being in real time. There's really no reason why you couldn't turn the functionality on to be able to order online through the portal for a CoD customer. Once that order was submitted, you could then redirect them to a payment page. So you're getting their money up front. Okay, let's say they don't pay, even though they've been redirected, they just bypass that. Where has that delivery ticket gone? Remember, it was created in real time. That delivery ticket would be sitting on your on-hold board in Cargas, where then you would be able to review it. You could have somebody checking the board multiple times a day or once a day, depending on what your bandwidth is. And then you could also have MPX code in some text to let the person know how they're going to pay. So you could have them select a radio button that says, "We'll leave check for driver." That message can then be populated in the delivery ticket in Cargas. So if somebody sees this on-hold ticket with a message, "We'll leave check for driver MPX," they automatically know this is a CoD account that came in online automatically. I'm good to release this ticket because the note's already in there of how they're going to pay. Now pair that with a text reminder the day before the delivery. As soon as they're added to a route, that night they're going to get a reminder, so they do remember to leave that check for you. So that's the kind of full spectrum automation you can expect when you're using really modern tools like MPX and Cargas when they talk to each other in real time, is all of a sudden the customer experience and how they can do business and how you can protect your policies, procedures, protocols can finally live in harmony to give you a successful business model.
This is
Okay.
Tim. Hey, Julie, just real quick. I just want to say a couple things. One is that as Julia and Mandy are going back and forth between the MPX portal that's branded Blueox and Cargas, that's all happening in real time. So just so you know, that's literally happening as we kind of speak and go through it. And the other thing to share is that we kind of operate on a 70-30 rule, which is that what you're seeing on the screen is what we developed. There's a lot of architecture and a lot of tools that are part of this solution that are universally available. And then with Julia and her team, we customized what was appropriate for their business and their business rules and how they operate. But just know that you all are going to have your own set of business rules, and these solutions are designed to be flexible in a way that will incorporate what it is that's right for your business. So that 70-30 rule is just a good rule of thumb where we expect in the range of 30% to be customized. So thank you.
Thanks, Tim. All right, so the third type of customer that we had mentioned before that we are trying to attract and cater to is the price protection plan customer. Now, for years and years, this has been the coveted customer because it's that guaranteed money, it's the person you can trust, but it's also the most intense level of conversation your customer service team is going to have. Selecting a pre-buy or a budget, capped or fixed, how many gallons is a very overwhelming process for a customer. And we were dealing with the same thing. We were trying to give our customers options for how to do business. What we were really doing is overwhelming them. All they want is some guidance on the decision-making process, so they feel they can make an empowered, good decision about how to purchase their energy for the upcoming year. So when we started working with MPX, this was a big project that we really wanted to wrap our arms around. So we're going to walk you through what it's like for our customers at Blueox to sign up for a price protection plan. Essentially, we originally sent out a mailer telling them that they now have this ability to go online. And within the first year, 40% of our customers went online and signed up for their budget or pre-buy with no additional help from our office. Probably about another 10% called in because it was a new system and just wanted to double check, did I pick the right option? Is this what I did last year? So we helped guide them through that process. This year, we're already trending 10% ahead of that. So we're already trending around 50% of our customers are going in and signing up all by themselves, which has greatly reduced the burden on our customer service team. And the people that do want to call in, it frees up our phone line so they can have those conversations and still have that personal experience that they're looking for. So we've broken this process into basically 4 steps. At the top, yes, this is a little bit of junky history, but you can see that what we would display is the plans they've done for the previous years. So if I had done a pre-buy last year that was on a price cap for propane for 1,200 gallons, that's going to display here. So I have a reference point of what I did the year previous. Step 1 is to choose the type of plan. So we offer pre-buy and budget. If you offer some other variety of plan, those are all things that MPX could customize for you. So in this case, Mandy's going to select a pre-buy, and then we're going to go down to step 2, which is we're choosing how many gallons we want and how we want to price protect those gallons. So you can see here the price is automatically displayed. The average gallons are displayed for what they typically use, and then the functionality is there to view their usage history. The usage history will display 3 years of usage for them so they can see how they got to the average, which helps for those customers who maybe have one delivery that swings from 1 year to the next, maybe with some bigger tanks. 1 year, maybe they take 2 deliveries, the next year they take 3, those type of things. And then it gives them the average so that they know, where they need to be to protect adequately for the upcoming season. So we'll have Mandy go in, figure out how many gallons she feels comfortable with, and then we're going to move on over to pricing options, which again, we only offer a cap or a fixed. If you had a different type of pricing option, that's customizable to you as well. So say I'm not really sure what the difference between fixed and capped is. I can simply click on the button and it's going to clearly explain to me, what these options mean so I can make an empowered decision about how to buy the energy. So Mandy will go ahead and she can select whichever one she chooses. I think this time she's going to go with a cap. And then we'll move on to step 3, which I call the upsell opportunity. So in step 3, we choose to highlight our service plans because we have a fully staffed HVAC department, and we really promote being on an annual maintenance plan. So here is an opportunity for people who sign up every year to ensure they stay on the plan, or for somebody who maybe didn't sign up before, we offer them a discount if they add a service plan on their fuel. So in this case, this customer has a gas furnace. If they click on the service contract drop down, it'll show them the variety of options. And here's an explanation of the different options and the discounts that are associated with that. So the customer can pick whatever is going to best fit their needs. So we get through that. We also had them build in the functionality of bill separately. So we had the situation where we have some pre-buy or budget customers that maybe want the discount for having a plan, but they'd like to pay for it outright at the time of renewal. They don't want it lumped into their monthly budget payment, or they don't want to pay for it at the time of their pre-buy renewal. So we had MPX customize a checkbox just to let us know that they want this coverage, they get the discount, but we don't need to generate that bill right now as part of their total. So as Mandy scrolls down, we move to step 4, which all step 4 is review. It's navigating the selections the customer made, recapping it in one area, accounting for any credit or debit balances that are going to be applied to the plan for the customer to have a central place to review it. Now, one of my favorite things about this tool is if you look at the top, you can see the estimate for this pre-buy is going to be a little over $3,000. Well, I'm trying to figure out, do I want to take $3,000 out of my savings account? Or should I look at what a budget would cost me? Maybe that's a more feasible option this year. Mandy goes to the top and simply selects monthly budget. Automatically, everything is updated so the customer knows what their new plan option would be. That same technology applies to if they change their gallons, if they change their service plan, it automatically populates in real time, which makes it a very useful tool for the customer to figure out, do I add 50 more gallons? Do I take away 50 more gallons? Some of those decisions that they tend to talk through with your CSR team on the phone. So once we get through this, the customer has made all their selections. We'll scroll down to the bottom, and at that point, we click Continue. Continue will take you to the next page where the customer then has a print, they can download a copy of the contract, or if MPX is handling all your document needs, your invoices, your statements, a copy of this is automatically saved on the portal anyway, so they really don't need to download it and print it. But this is also can be customized, to whatever your needs are for your contract for the season. So it's giving them all that information up front. Then if we go back to that page, you can see that there's a checkbox, and that is really what electronically signs them up for the plan. It uses that we're using an electronic signature of just saying this checkbox counts for us. I know a couple companies do it in different ways, but this is the way that works simple enough for us. And then it's automatically going to prompt them for how they want to pay. So to Tim's point, these portals are getting us paid faster. Now you're not chasing a check or chasing anything else. If they do want to mail in a check, it's letting us know this person's going to mail in a check. So we're not assuming that they didn't make the payment. Then she can click Continue to the payment screen, and it will automatically bring them over to that payment screen. This also finalizes the contract process. When the contract process is finalized, what happens is in real time, it automatically is set up in Cargas. So right now, Mandy is jumping over to Cargas, and she's going to this customer's account where nothing was set up before this call. And we're going to be able to display that in this situation, if you can see right here on the transaction screen and the front here, you can see miscellaneous liquid fuel price protection fee has automatically been charged. The budget has automatically been set up on the account. Mandy can click on that functionality. Budget's completely set up, ready to go. Nobody has to do anything with it. And then the pricing plan has also been set up automatically for the gallons that Mandy selected, the 1252, and she's on a price cap of 2099 this season. So she is 100% ready to go as if she was doing this at home, 10 o'clock at night, didn't need help from a CSR. This is really how customers want to do business on their terms, but they want to be empowered with information. And I think the tools that MPX has built and how they work with the tools that Cargas has makes this a very strong dynamic and makes it a great way to serve your customers. So, just some of the numbers we're seeing, like I said, using these platforms to reach our customers, we've seen 20% growth within the past 2 years organically. We have 50% of our customers signing up online, and we're seeing about 25% of our customers enroll in auto pay programs that previously we weren't talking to enough to get them to enroll. So we're getting paid much faster in those cases. So just to kind of summarize here, the other thing is, as I said before, MPX offers a variety of products and services that they can really be your one place for all things communication to your customer, which keeps it much easier for your internal team, reduces your overhead needs. So at this point, I'm going to kick it back over to Tim to wrap things up, and we'll go from there.
Sure, and one thing I wanted to throw in there a little before we close here is to show an example of what Julia is talking about with these products. The text-to-pay is really that next evolution of those automatic payments, and this is showing an example of the customer who signed up for those text-to-pay. They go in, they sign up online, but then when they get that statement that an amount is due, they get a text, and all they have to do is hit Pay Now. And then that document or invoice or whatever it happens to be is automatically paid, and it doesn't take any extra time. It doesn't sit on somebody's kitchen table for 3 weeks before they've gotten a chance to write a check. It comes to them and they're able to make that decision instantly. And like Julia said, that kind of payment, getting paid faster, all comes down to the bottom line, growth and not necessarily cutting costs, but getting paid from your customers and growing your customer base with these technology tools.
So great, thanks Julia, thanks Mandy, and we're opening it up to questions now, which I've already got a couple in, so I'll get started. But feel free to type into the chat window or into the questions window for anyone that has any questions. We would welcome them. But Julia, a couple have come in. Where do you start? When you embarked on this journey, or what advice would you give for others as to kind of where to start with this kind of concept of bringing ease and simplicity?
I would start by talking to your team members. That is where we got the strongest and best feedback of what the pain points were for our customers, whether that was when they called in and talked to a customer service representative, whether it was the information a customer service representative had to handle that situation, or whether it's a driver or technician out in the field. What are they hearing from your customers? If you can populate a list of what they're hearing, what we found is you'll start to find some continuity to it, that what the girls may be hearing on the front end is not completely different than what a technician may be hearing on the back end. And once you can start to identify those pain points for a customer, you can start to roadmap, what's the most important, what's the most affordable, what makes the most sense to move the project forward.
Great. The next question is the service contract's choice directly populated from what is set up in Cargas?
Yes. So if I have a Blue Plus plan on my account right now and I'm renewing my budget or pre-buy, it will automatically populate my existing plan on there. However, if I would like to upgrade that plan, I am able to do so, and it will set up the new plan in Cargas for you automatically as well.
Great. One of the questions that came up is, how do you get operations on board? Was that a unique challenge at Blueox, or was that group already on board, or any advice in that regard?
I think it's a momentum thing that, nobody likes change no matter what, but typically when it comes to technology, sometimes in the beginning it's a little more painful, but probably the same as when you went live with Cargas. It's rare that somebody ever wants to go backwards once they have the tool. Your frontline staff will feel the same way when your customers are happier, so the types of calls that are coming in are a little less intense. They're seeing how by automating some of these processes, there's less work on their plate. For example, before we went with this, we had a third party for sending text messages for deliveries and service appointments. And only one person really knew how to use the system. So when that person was out sick, then the text messages didn't get sent. Then the customer service representatives were upset because we never told them the text messages didn't get sent. Then customers are calling in saying, why is the truck here? I didn't get a text message. So by being able to automate some of these processes and procedures and have them all work together, you're giving your customer the streamlined experience, but you're giving your staff a streamlined experience. We didn't show it in the presentation, but on the back end of MPX, you can see all the communications that have gone to a customer. So if you sent the text message last night, your delivery dispatcher can get in there and identify that, oh, yep, we did send that text message last night. If the customer's saying, no, I didn't get anything, not that you're going to argue with them, but it empowers you to know that the tools work. And then once that happens, the workload just starts to go down and everybody's stress level starts to go down and people start to buy in more and more. I would recommend turning things on in phases and soliciting for their opinions. I'm a big advocate of collaboration between departments, so I think it would be extremely beneficial if you include them in what their pain points are to see if those solutions can directly influence what they're doing.
Great. Here's another question, and I'll ask Mandy to answer it. Is, do you have the ability to send text when a delivery or service is completed with the invoice?
And absolutely. With the way that the data is integrated with Cargas and how we have set up the notifications platform, the data is sort of streamlined in a way that we know who has received a delivery, who has a scheduled service appointment, or who has requested a service appointment. There's a lot of different activities and things that customers do. And what we've set up with Julia and many of our other fuel dealer customers is different types of messages and notifications that automatically go to those customers based on those notification preferences, like a delivery has been made, or if a CoD customer, you have a delivery tomorrow, be sure to leave a payment on the payment for the driver. Or you have a service appointment scheduled for tomorrow, you need to be home for this appointment. This is a reminder, those types of notifications. So all of that is set up so that it's automated, and the data feed comes to MPX, and we're able to basically mine that data for all these types of activities and then send out those communications automatically.
Great. So it looks like we've got just one more question for Julia. What was the biggest challenge on this journey?
I think the biggest challenge is not running before you can walk. Making sure that you have a clear plan for how you want to approach things, and a realistic timeline for things. That's a question I get a lot about doing business with MPX. Do they meet their timelines? And I would say the answer for us has always been yes. But even if there's been a timeline that hasn't been reached, it's never a surprise because it's something that we're collaborating with together, and it's something that we're trying to navigate to ensure that the end result is exactly what we want versus trying to force a timeline that's unrealistic. And that's something I can personally speak to with working with MPX, is that they are very attuned to their customers' needs. We still have calls every 2 to 3 weeks. We've been with them for 2 years, regularly scheduled calls where we're reviewing what's working, what's not working. I involve customer service in that. But I think if you map out a plan, stick to your plan, turn tools on one at a time, test them out, you will get more buy-in from your team, and everybody will support the product, and your customer will be the one who benefits the most.
Great. Thanks, Julia and Mandy, and thank you all for listening. And our contact information is here if we can be at all helpful. And it's just a pleasure to share this story and to hear from you if and when we can be helpful. Thanks, everyone. Take care.